So we'll start. We're back on that ish, daytime edition.
Yup.
And yeah, I guess. Well, let me pause for a sec. All
Yeah.
right.
So
So
no friction at all. Don't. Yeah. Nothing. If I came off that way, I.
we're talking about some events that happened in Florida recently. I saw a video of a guy. I don't know what his age was. I mean, we'll call him a young guy, but uh, I'd probably say maybe 30s or something, maybe 30s, 20s, what have you. Uh, you know, Definitely not an old man. Uh, Probably definitely not a teenager. Um, and there was a group approaching him, and they seemed like they meant business. I mean, it was a threatening situation. There was some friction between them, and you see on the video, he starts shooting right at them, and then people start running and whatnot. And Florida has stand your ground laws, and Ish and I were talking about what what would you have done in this situation. I'm just going to put it out there. I mean, he seemed to go from 0 to 100 real quick. No warning shot, no nothing. To shooting right at these people who I don't know what
Were
they
these
were.
all? Now I don't. Not that this matters, but again,
Mhm.
I don't really know anything more about the situation. You got to excuse me because I'm at work, so I do have a mask on. If I sound a little muffled,
No, no, you're all right.
um, I didn't know anything about the situation other than what you explained to me, Flav.
Yeah,
For our viewing audience. So, like, and I don't know that these things are relevant, but they're relevant to me for my critical thinking on some of the nuances of the situation. So I'm going to ask, what were the ethnicities of the people involved?
hmm I saw that coming. Um, they they looked black to me. They
All of
looked
them.
black. It was a quick. I didn't press rewind
But we're
on
saying
this
the
on this
alleged assailant,
video.
the alleged assailants, and the alleged victim
That's what they look.
look
That's
to
what they
be
looked
okay.
like. Keep in mind, it's kind of a grainy video,
Hmm.
so there could have been brown people mixed in there too. For all I know,
Hmm.
I don't really know, but that's what it looked like.
And another thing, I just one more question: Do we know? Do we know if the gun was legal or not?
And this was just a quick look what happened the other
Okay.
day in Miami. Yeah, we don't
Okay.
we don't know the situation.
Okay. That all of that changes things. At least adds to my ability to critically think on my reaction if I were in that situation,
Okay.
right? And even trying to take in and understand that situation, it begs certain questions like, well, is this a street situation?
hmm
Is this a situation where we're talking about a group of civilians based on the street terms versus a civilian based on the street terms? You know what I mean?
Right.
These are things that and now I'm it, that's me adding nuance and putting into context. I'm a black and white person, so in black and white, I'm not going to assume any of that, right? I'm just going to assume that we're just talking about a person and a group of people in the situation. I'm not going to add any color to it other than I can't, right? We only have what we have, right? We can
Yeah.
add and discuss the color, you know, certainly within the conversation, but at a later time, so to speak. You know what I mean? Right
Yeah.
now, we just know that it was just a group of people and an individual, and the individual appeared to be, I don't know, in an altercation, or at least about to be in an altercation with a group of people. And you said he opened fired on them. Did he hit
He opened.
anyone?
I, I, um, that's a good question. I
You sure?
might be able to find that out quickly. I don't know right off the bat if he did.
Okay. Now you said you're saying right off the bat that he went from 0 to 100.
Yeah. I mean,
And that's based on what you've seen in the video. Again, I didn't see the video, so I'm just trying to get an understanding, because 0 to 100 is, do we know that he wasn't already at 50 before what we saw?
um, yeah, I mean that's just from what I could ascertain.
Okay, we're gonna keep it at that then. We're not even gonna assume that. We're gonna keep it at, based upon what we've seen, he goes from 0 to 100. I think that's fair,
Because to me,
because
50 is
we
like
can't know. Say again.
to me 50 is like you start brandishing a gun and people start, you know,
Well, 50 could
acting.
also be 50 could also be, and we're not gonna. I'm only saying this for a response to you, but I'm not gonna include this in the conversation or base my opinion off of what I'm about to say.
Mhm.
50 could also be they were following him for a block, or he, you know what I mean? They were arguing, or like we don't know any of the things that led to that. And I'm
Okay.
not even gonna assume. I'm not even gonna use them for you know what I'm saying? For the
Mhm.
purpose of this discussion, but just as a response to, in addition to what your 50 is, because you're right. You know what I mean? But he could already have been on 50 for a lot of different reasons, right?
Mhm.
We're not going to discuss that. I don't think it's fair to discuss anything outside of, at the very least, what we know took place in the video,
Yeah.
right? Because then we start painting a lot of hypotheticals, which is cool. We can do that at a point, at some point, but let's, to be fair, because so for me, based upon that, I said to you, and this is something that we were not necessarily disagreeing on, but we're exploring. I
Mhm.
said, you know, I think that it is reasonable. I made it clear that I personally would not have just opened fire. And again, I'm saying that as someone who's on the outside of the situation looking in, because
Mhm.
in the situation, depending on how I ascertain the situation, and we're talking fight or flight ascertainment, right? Like quick instinctual, depending on how I gauge that situation, I may have. It just depends. And that's where like the color thing came into play, where I was critically thinking on, like, if I'm standing in Tupelo, Mississippi on the wrong side of the tracks and the good old boys come at me, like I might think I understand why you're coming. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, but we're not talking about that. And, we're talking about just what we see in the base of that video. And I that's a hypothetical. So I don't think it's fair either. So I think in a given situation, even though I might act differently, I think the guy's response, based upon what I know, was reasonable.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. That's just my instinct is a little bit different. I think self defense is one thing. I think shooting into people, is different. I mean, I feel like there are different motions that can get someone off of you enough so that you can go to safety. I think brandishing a weapon can be one, and then if they're not taking you seriously, shooting up in the air is two. I think, you know, I think it's reasonable to do that. Um,
See, that's now I want to just say really quick. That's interesting, right? Because I've said this to people. Like, I remember telling my wife, because not my wife, a friend of mine, whose wife, he has her keep a handgun.
mhm.
And I remember telling him, I said, well, can she use it, and can she use it well? He said, well, she goes to the range. And I'm like, yeah, but is she tactical with it? And he's like, why? I said, because philosophically, for me, if I'm confronted in a situation, especially close quarters with someone with a handgun, I'm looking to take their gun. I'm
Mhm.
looking to take it from them. And there are a lot of people who think that way, right? Like Krav Maga teaches that if a person brings a weapon into a situation, they've brought you a weapon.
They
Like
weren't
the weapon
close.
is
They weren't close enough. They
right. No,
weren't
I'm just
close enough.
I'm just throwing that out there though. Like a weapon is fair game. Whoever pulls it out is fair game for everyone. Once you
Yeah.
introduce the weapon into the situation, that weapon is fair game for everyone. You better hope you can brandish it well, because it's fair game for everyone.
No, it's my
Everyone in that
weapon.
situation.
You're not allowed to touch it. It's mine.
Well, yeah, I mean, you have to make you have to make sure that I can't get it from you. That certainly is your responsibility if you're going to brandish it to make sure that I can't get it.
Yeah, he was there was plenty of distance between them. There was lots of distance.
So my question is, what is self, like what is reasonable self defense, and then when is it okay to defend yourself, and how can you defend yourself? Like, what do you think is acceptable?
Um, I think a deadly weapon means that you really have to prove that you were in imminent danger and you thought that using a deadly weapon was your only shot out of there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that you can skip the other steps that we discussed,
Mm.
ethically or morally, because then I think it's a cruel, wild west kind of world where the moment someone looks at you wrong, you shoot them.
Well, I'm going to give you a situation. This is a scenario, and it doesn't necessarily have to apply. It's a personal experience, so it certainly doesn't have to apply. But I just feel like sharing it.
Hmm.
A bunch of us of friends of mine, we're on Facebook right now. We grew up in a community where a friend of ours, they still shout him out every year since we were teenagers. A friend of ours, I'm not going to say his name, was killed by somebody else we know. He was a pretty boy who was not a fighter. He did not want to fight this guy, and so he ran from him. The guy chased him. He was in so much fear that he ran. Oh, he saw a woman going into her house. He ran into her house. He pushed her out of the way, ran into her house, and ran in the basement. The person, we know this person as well, followed him into the house and beat him to death in the basement with his bare hands. Humans can be deadly weapons.
Yeah, I mean they can for sure, but I that's a horrible scenario, but it doesn't take away from the fact that if you don't, I mean, first of all, this person that ran into the basement didn't have a weapon on him, right?
Neither one of them did.
Neither one of them did. Okay. I mean, the scenario that I painted still stands. That I think if you have a weapon on you, um, first of all, the situations are different, right? I mean, the moment you run into a house and someone runs into the house after you, that's like a huge escalate, right?
That's
That's
like a
not
huge what?
something escalation.
Well, isn't it an escalation if someone just chases you? If you're
Well, I
trying to
I
flee?
didn't say that these people on the video were chasing
No,
him.
no,
I
no.
said they
I
were.
no, no. We're talking about this specific scenario, the aside scenario, not the video.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He was. Yeah, he escalated a few times. Yeah, he chased them, then he ran into the house after him, then he ran into the basement. Yeah, he escalated a few times. Had that other person had a weapon, they certainly, I think at that point, they'd have more of a case of why, they would have to use it before they, like you said, lose it, right? Before it can be used against them because that person's
Mm-hmm.
close enough to catch them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
See. Unfortunately, what we're talking about here, and this is, I think, getting to the getting to the meat of what we're talking about, is we live in a messed up world,
Mm-hmm.
and I just don't know that you can always assume worst case scenario every time. I mean, I think that's why you have to judge it case by case. Uh, I'm assuming I'm assuming this person that got chased by this other person knew what that person was capable of, or uh,
Mm-hmm.
that person had a reputation or something, or
Mm-hmm.
So
Yes,
in that case,
that's an accurate assumption.
yeah. So in that case, anything that that person did to defend themselves would be even more, you know, justified, right?
Hmm.
Um, and not only that, but just the chasing and the going into the basement and going into a stranger's house to get them. I mean, that's pretty intense. But I just fear a world where fear allows you to justify killing someone who is not already. See, the scenario that you painted is, I'm not going to let you get to me because something really bad like death could happen. Unfortunately, I think that that's life to a point. Like, once someone puts hands on you, now they've escalated, right? Someone's beating the brakes off of you, now they've escalated even more.
See, that's
Um,
interesting that you say that, because I think instinctually, I have a responsibility not to let you put hands on me.
yeah, I'm not saying that you don't. I'm just saying that in order for you to do something to potentially take someone else's
Hmm?
life, you should really you should really think and be able to show that that they were going to do you, you know, a high level of harm, if not death, then really, then really, mortally wound you, or not even to the point of death, but like maim,
Mike,
or
Flav, can you give me just a second?
yeah, yeah. No, I was just saying, I think you have to be able to prove, extreme harm, maiming, or that someone meant death upon you before you can escalate, right? Otherwise, you know, every time someone slap boxes with me, or every time I get into a little scuffle, all of a sudden someone ends up dead.
Well, in theory, though, in theory, that's why it's litigated, right? Because in theory, that's what self-defense is, right? Like, when you say every time you get into a little scuffle, that's an interesting choice of words, because nobody should be compelled to have to fight. Like, I don't have to fight you. I understand that this is life and some people just take butt whoopings, but I don't have to take a butt whooping. I don't have to get punched in my face. I don't have to be inconvenienced in that manner. I don't have to be abused physically by another human being. You understand what I'm saying?
You don't, and that's why you have the law, and they can go to jail, and you can sue them and all
Yeah, but
that
that's
stuff. And
that's that's the after effect if I'm abused.
you're right,
I
and
don't have to let you abuse me.
it's a horrible thing, but I feel like there's different levels, you
I
know?
get it, but my fear, my equal fear, is that I'm giving license to the aggressor to become a victim on some level, based upon
Yeah,
your position.
but what do we, I mean, what do we do then if we're not looking at both sides, saying you both have a responsibility here? Then, every time some kid plays a prank on you and trips you in the hallway and laughs, you get to shoot him. That's not the kind of world we want to live in.
Well, that's not the same scenario either. I get what you're saying, but it's actually not the same scenario.
You're painting a slippery slope.
Well, if every day you trip me, and I know that that's what you're going to do, and no one's doing anything to stop it, then at some point it is self-defense. I now know what your intentions are, right? And if you get hurt, that doesn't mean I'm going to show up and shoot you. But they do have laws against bullying. Now, here's the,
That's
well, not
true.
not laws, measures,
That's
but
true. I mean, first, I wasn't assuming that this is someone doing this to you
Yeah,
every
yeah, yeah. No,
day.
yeah, no, I know. We're just both kind of playing off each other with scenarios. I know.
But you do have a point. Bullying is an escalation. That is next level. Do I think it's shoot you because you tripped me next level? No. But you do
Well,
have a point that someone has taken it to the next level. Now
do are we
they're
saying so?
yeah,
Go
go
on. I'm
ahead.
sorry. Well,
No,
let's
go ahead.
evaluate these levels, right, based on this video, right? Had he shot these people, chased them down, and continued to shoot them until they were all shot dead, because the law does speak to your defense becoming an offense is illegal. There are provisions for that in the
Right.
law. Remember, I was charged in court in a court martial because my offense, my self defense became offensive.
This is
I
basically what I
defended
think I've been
myself
arguing.
beyond.
This is what I've been
Mhm.
arguing without actually saying those words. Is
Okay,
that
well that happened.
I think that's what this person did
See,
was they
I'm
saw
sorry. I
a
just want to say, mhm.
perceived threat and they took it upon themselves to take it to the next level.
And see, I think they handled it reasonably in the sense that I think we'd be having a different conversation if people got shot and killed, or even shot. If no one got shot and they ran away and he didn't chase them, then I think he effectively defended himself.
I mean, because he got lucky and no one got shot.
I mean, but it works the same way too, right? He got lucky that he didn't get attacked.
Yeah, I just think I mean that's I mean there are certainly different types of weapons, right? Not all of them are going to kill you or put a bullet in you.
I think your perspective on what a weapon is, and this for the purpose of this conversation, is limited because human beings are weapons and they are deadly weapons.
Okay, but I mean we have this word. It's called a weapon. People carry them, and people carry them for a reason, right? I mean, a gun is more efficient, um, and it can do a lot of harm in anyone's hands. Whereas, in
Right.
order for your hands to be lethal, you've got to have at least a certain amount of strength
Well,
or
lethality
skill
can
or
come from
ability.
your knees, you're right, or feet, or or you know what I mean.
Yeah, I mean, you have to. Yeah, it's pretty brutal to end someone with you know with your own body.
Yeah, but even ending someone isn't even the end goal, right? Like I don't deserve. Listen, I'm not gonna let you break my nose. I'm not gonna let you choke me to sleep. I'm not gonna let you break my arm. I'm not gonna let you do any of that. Which is the reason
I
why
mean,
I'm assuming I have a license. I don't have a license to carry, but this is the reason why I'm assuming I'm licensed to carry for when I'm in those
so
situations.
in that scenario that we were talking about, where you were saying, maybe he didn't even know these people, and then he shot at them. What if he was mistaken, and what if there was a dude they were trying to get at that was behind him, and this
Okay,
dude
so
was
we're
so
we're free
scared.
to
This
hypothesize now, which is cool because I wanted to do that at some
okay,
point anyway.
okay. So
Go on.
how messed up would that be? This dude was so scared seeing this group, advancing towards him that he's like, oh shit, doesn't give them a warning shot, nothing, just shoots right at them. Hits
And
one of them and kills one of them.
I mean, I agree. That's why we have we have means to litigate for people to the law actually interprets that situation and comes to a conclusion or another. But we could
Mm-hmm.
equally say, what if their intention was not to do him bodily harm, and they ended, excuse me, not to kill him, just to beat him up, and they ended up killing him anyway? Because like
Well,
the if you're getting jumped, it's not like they're assessing the intensity by which they're going to jump you.
but see now, but in order for that to happen, other things have to happen, right? They had to actually approach you, so you knew that they were
which
talking
they
to
were doing.
you. Well, like I said, Julie,
I don't know. You said that they were you actually in the opening of the video. You said you
it
used the
looked
word
like that
threatening.
according it looked like that according to the video, but I don't know that there wasn't someone standing off camera who they were trying to get
Right.
at.
So based on what we know, though, and that's why I wanted to remember the key word you use is threatening. That was the key word that you use in your description, and that's a big word. That is a big word, and legally, as it applies in court to self-defense, that is a big word.
Yeah, I mean you're going to have a time in court, and you're going to have to prove the threat level.
Well, I think if the video conveys as much as you described, there's already proof.
You're putting a lot on me.
No, you
Um,
said threatening.
yeah, that's one word.
Yeah, but
That's
if
not
that's
like
what
a.
it, if that's what it compelled you to feel was happening, well, then I think it may compel other people to see this. I mean, you're pretty good at ascertaining a situation.
You're putting a lot on one observer of like a video that went by pretty quick.
Yeah, I'm putting a lot on the only observation I have of the video. I'm talking about a video through your observation.
Yes, but the person observing also disagrees with the fact that this justified shooting into that crowd of people.
Yeah, but the difference there is the person observing doesn't litigate. I get what you're saying. You're right.
So
But
you're gonna kick me off of this. So the moment you ask me that question, you're gonna kick me off of the stand. Well,
no, well,
they're gonna
that
cross
a lawyer
examine.
would. A
They're
lawyer
gonna,
would, yeah.
but the
I'm not kicking you
but
off the stand.
the
Who's gonna ask you that?
prosecution's gonna cross examine, and
Okay.
they're gonna ask me, in my opinion, was the threat level, did it justify a shooting? And I would say no,
And
not
they're
at
gonna
that
be like,
time.
objection, Your Honor. Not qualified to make.
Okay, then the other lawyer's going to say, okay, then I object to this witness. If he's not qualified to make one judgment, he certainly isn't qualified to make the other. Let him
Yeah,
go.
but they're not gonna be able to object after the fact.
Sure, sure. You
Not
can
after the
object.
fact.
You can object to an objection.
No.
You can say, Your Honor, what are we doing? You this person all of a
Hey, how's it
sudden
going? Go on.
this person all of a sudden isn't qualified when it comes to our half of the court case, but they were certainly qualified, earlier when it was a threat level. Like what are we doing?
Yeah, but I mean, why would I be cross-examining you to begin with?
No. I'm saying
They're
after.
cross-examining the video, right? And if the video leads people to believe, and that's all I was mentioning. If the video leads people to believe that the word threat is appropriate just by watching the video.
Well, yeah, that's not where we differ. We don't differ if there was a threat or not. We differ.
Right. And
We
the way that
differ
he dealt with the threat.
in the way that you deal with it.
I mean, it's hard, Mike. How do you tell someone you should have done this when you feel threatened by a crowd?
So at what level, what is it? What do you have to be 18 to legally? Uh, no, kids use
Yeah,
hunting
you not,
weapons younger than that.
yeah, you don't have to be 18 to have a firearm.
We're,
Depends on the state, but you certainly can hunt well before you're 18.
well, but okay, these guys were on the street though, and this
Yeah.
was not a hunting
No, I'm
rifle.
just saying you can certainly have You can. I mean,
Right,
rifles
but I'm
are you don't even need a license for a rifle.
yeah, but I'm trying to get to what happened though. This wasn't a rifle. This was a handgun.
No, I just was speaking to the whole, young people can have firearms.
Well, I was gonna point. I was gonna paint another scenario where Johnny and Melissa are on the playground, and Melissa punches Johnny in the nose, and Johnny feels threatened and he blows her away.
Johnny can't have a pistol permit though, so
I
there is
didn't
that.
say anything. I didn't say anything about a pistol.
Yeah, but you're kind of pettifogging then because you did dismiss a rifle, which is the only thing
Exact.
that a
Well,
young
exact.
kid could
Well,
have on the playground. That's
well,
the only thing a young kid would be able to have, and he wouldn't be
well,
able to have it on the
exactly.
playground.
That's why I was trying to get. That's why I was trying to get to the meat of this. Like, that's why I told you like we had to be specific for the
Well, a kid
situation.
can't have a firearm. The kid won't be able to shoot Melissa on the playground.
You just said
He will be able to
kids.
shoot her on a hunting trip. Kids can't get pistol permits. They can certainly have
I didn't
firearms.
say anything about a pistol.
Oh, well,
I didn't say
then
anything about
it's
a
a
pistol.
rifle. It's a rifle.
It's whatever he's allowed to use
So
legally.
it would be a rifle. So he
It's
would go home. He would go home and get a rifle because he certainly just can't have a rifle on the playing ground.
sure.
Okay, that's not self defense anymore. That's where you're. See, this is, and I know this. Now it's premeditated murder.
Okay, so let's say it's not even his. Uh, let's say he didn't go home to get it.
If he leaves the scene for any reason, goes to his car.
Let's say it was sitting. Let's say like they found a rifle on the playground,
Hmm.
and so he gets busy. He doesn't want to be punched in the face, and so he defends himself.
Okay, he defends himself, and the court's going to determine whether he was responsible or not. But listen, if I don't want to be punched in the face, and I gotta don't punch me in the face, like I'm letting you know, and
We can
that's how I
agree.
feel about that.
We can
That's
agree
how I
to
feel.
that. I mean, we can agree that they should not be punching you in the face. That's totally agree. But you can't. Oh man,
You
how
can't
like
really determine. You can't just like you can't put a price on people's pain. You can't determine a measure of people's fear. You
well
can't say
that's.
because
I mean, the
one person
court's
would act a
the
certain
court's going
way.
to do that. The
Yeah,
court's
I know.
going to do that.
Yeah, and that's why this is like hard for you and I to litigate because I'll tell you all day like there's things I'll go to jail for. Listen, if you put me in harm's way, you better hope you know what you're doing. And I'm the type of person where I'm telling you like I would not have shot those people, but I also don't want to be punched in the face. I don't want my daughter to get punched in the face. I'm not going to hold it against somebody. Listen, I do believe in overkill. Personally, I do. I do
Yeah.
believe in we have a responsibility. Like if you rob my house, I don't want to shoot you. I will
Hmm.
not shoot you in the back, leaving my house. You can leave with my property. I'll call the police. I'm not going to kill you.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But if you're coming into my house, I'm going to assume that my family is in danger and you might die.
Okay. Well. Listen, I respect all of that, and I'm just saying that other people should use maybe a little bit of the discretion that you're using. Is all that I'm
And I
saying.
agree. I agree. I agree. My problem is I'm military, right? So in most cases, if I have to shoot you, you're not going to make it because
Hmm.
it's programmed in me to aim center mass.
Hmm.
I don't want to kill you, but I don't know how not to aim center mass to stop you.
Okay.
Doesn't mean you're going to die, but you're not going to keep coming.
How long?
You understand what
How
I'm
long?
saying?
How? What would it take to reprogram you?
It's hard if you ever read, and I talk to, I'm part of different groups like vet set, and it's hard. Like veterans never fully acclimate as civilians.
Mm.
Never. We never. There's a whole science to it, where it's the reason why sometimes I still refer to people as civilians. Like we
Mm.
never fully, because we lived a life. In most cases, in your formative years, in many cases for 20 plus years, people live that life. But we live a life that is totally not like the civilian world. Like it's not the same life at all.
Mm.
You know what I mean? And so
Yeah.
it's kind of, for some people it's very hard to acclimate. I was able to acclimate, but they still like you can. I'm not just. This is something like you could actually Google. about vets reintegrating into society, and you'll see that it's like they never fully reintegrate. They always still have this military, these mechanisms in them. Like the times I wake up in the morning, and you know what I mean. Some of the things that I'm programmed to do that are just programmed into me. You know what I mean? Stay alert, stay alive. Like these things that are just like programmed into me. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Aim, center, mass, aim, center, mass, aim, center, mass, aim, center, mass. Where, you know, I fear for somebody if they ever come into my house. And I often tell people the reason why I don't own a handgun is for exactly the things that you're describing that you're afraid of.
Okay.
I don't want to shoot somebody. I don't want to have a handgun on me and defend myself well enough that you don't walk away. So I don't own one.
Mhm.
I own a shotgun that I'll never go home and get.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just write third check and put your initials for this guy because this guy always claims something's missing. So we're just gonna mark up
That's
this
funny.
paperwork. Yeah, you want to triple check them? Go ahead.
That's
Oh.
funny what that dude
I already
said.
did.
You don't want me to do it? You just want me to
Well,
sign
I-
it
well-
as if I did it?
Because you did already. Because I busted the package open.
Oh, okay.
Do it again. Check it. So you already packed it?
Something's missing. That's
And it
what
was good?
Uber.
Yep.
That's what Uber Eats probably says whenever they look at my order.
100%.
They're like,
You don't need me to
Must
repackage
subscribe.
it? Oh, that was the 60 book package. That was the one with 60 books in it? Oh, okay.
It's like 23.
Okay. I actually, yeah, okay. That's the one me and her went over together again. Okay. Hello. Sorry.
Yeah. no, it's all good.
All right, go
Yeah.
on. What?
Back, we came back from you handling that customer. I forgot to hit unpause.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe it's better. It's better that it didn't.
Yeah, maybe it's better. We'll keep it more PG for the kids.
All right.
All right, kids, you missed it. When you grow up, we'll tell you. So yeah, one thing I forgot to tell you, a detail that I learned when we were first talking, and I was going through my phone trying to find details on that ish that happened in Miami, was the dude was from New York. Now they said New York. I don't know if that means New York State or New York City, but they said on it was however they found out. I guess they must have picked him up or found him, but he's from New York.
I mean, Mike, you from here, New York City, New York State. I'm not going to paint New York State as one mono thing, but the big cities in New York State. Listen, I know how they get down south, but you know how we get down up here.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I'm not saying we're the most gangster or anything like that. All of the big cities, like Buffalo ain't New York City, but you know, you've been here too. You know what I mean?
Yep. Yeah.
Like you know how we get down. I had a friend of mine from Florida the other day tell me same thing, the opposite. He was like, yeah, these people come down here from New York and they don't realize like it's real down here. And I said to him, I said, I get it. I said, I get it. And I'm not saying it's not. I'm saying, but people from New York, listen, I don't want to say trigger happy, but we not.
Yeah, well, it depends on who you're talking about, right? It depends on who you're talking about.
But you understand what I'm getting at, though.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Like
now that really makes me wonder what this whole situation was about.
Right.
I mean, was he like posted up on somebody else's, territory or something, or what? Because I'll tell you, I mean, when you were saying earlier, you weren't trying to stereotype or whatever. You just wanted the details to try to figure out what happened. My first thought was the way that he shot at them, like this wasn't just some scared
the gun was turned sideways.
basically that's kind of what I'm getting at. Like this wasn't just some scared person who's like, oh my god, and just started firing. Like this reminded me of like the Troy Ave situation or something. You know what I mean? Like these were people that knew how to do harm. So I don't know.
They weren't people that knew how to do harm?
I said they were. They
Oh,
were. Um, yeah, to me, this there was a situation going on between the two camps. There was some kind of situation.
hmm, hmm. It'll come out. It'll come out.
Yeah, yeah, they got his picture and everything.
It'll all come out. I'm curious though. Who are these two blonde Republican people that they're calling for their heads? Two girls.
Oh, down in like Georgia or something.
Yeah, they're like calling for their heads, saying that they're like conspiracy kooks and
Yeah, I've heard. I've heard about them.
you know anything else about it? Or
Nah,
it's
just
just
that they're just on some racist stuff.
racist. I know they said something against Jews,
Yeah.
which was a surprise.
Why?
I just didn't expect that.
Oh, come on. These anti-Semites are around. I mean,
No,
hey.
no, for sure, for sure. Listen, you don't got to convince me. You definitely don't got to convince me.
No, I mean these people are on some. I mean, she's basically isn't she on some QAnon stuff too? Or
Yeah, she's like a like big time QAnon supporter, QAnon supporter.
yeah, those people are crazy, dude. Those people are all wrapped up in anti-Semitic type crazy stuff.
So did
It's
you see what they
crazy you
said
can
about
put
the
into it.
people who? Did you see what they said about the people that they've arrested so far from the who stormed the Capitol?
No.
They were there to protest the election of Biden, and these people have no voting record. They didn't even vote for Trump.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, not all of them, but the key members that
Yeah,
they arrested didn't even vote.
yeah, that's wild.
Right? Like you are anarchists in the truest sense. You just want to disrupt.
Yeah, I sent you the picture of this dude. He looks like a goon.
Well, just for the sake of
I'm sorry.
yeah.
I'm sure he could be a nice church-going gentleman.
Normally it's you who's tempering me, bro.
Yeah.
In this case, you just went right there. Huh? Like, okay.
I put it in your I put it
If
in
I'd
your
have said
chat.
it, if I'd have said that, you'd have been like, wait a minute, Ish. Are you saying?
I put it in your chat. Take a look.
Hold on, give me a second. I have my hands full with
I mean,
some
I should say
comments.
he looks like a goon. He actually looks like he could be like a football player.
He looks like
He's
Dwayne.
athletic. Dwayne ain't athletic like that.
I'll just see a headshot.
This dude looks like he'll body slam Dwayne.
Dude, all I see is a headshot.
Dude, you don't see his shoulders look. You don't see
I
how
just see
big
his.
his neck. You don't see how big his
I
neck
just
looks.
no. I don't see any of that.
How
All I
big
see
his
is
head
a beard.
looks. Oh, your phone
No.
must be. You can see his neck. You can see his neck like practically above his jawline.
He's got a goon neck.
Yeah.
Like anyone with a neck like that has got to be a goon.
Look how big his head is, dude.
It's got to be a goon, huh?
If you punch that dude in the head, you probably break your hand.
So that makes him a goon.
No, I said he could just be a strong athletic guy. He doesn't have to be a goon. He could have been a football player. Linebacker.
Okay.
He probably probably hurt
Ladies
his
and
leg,
gentlemen. Ladies
his
and
leg,
gentlemen.
fell on tough
Slave
times.
is usually a lot more considerate in his choice of words. We're not gonna.
Hey man, the streets gotta eat. Goonies,
We're not gonna hold it against him.
Goonies are people too.
We're definitely not gonna hold it against him because he has a track record for being considerate with the words he chooses to use. We're gonna let his track record speak for him instead of This one instance.
Poor guy. People do get judged though. They do get judged before they should.
Poor guy
Before
because
the
of how he
public
looks.
Yeah, and just because that's how people are.
I mean, look how we judged our boy. Dude, I need that emoji
What boy?
so it can pop up on the screen.
How we judge?
I don't know. I think I got to tell him what I know emoji.
Who are you talking about?
You never seen the meme with Zeke's face? Maybe like, I don't know.
No.
I think I got to tell him what I know. Like,
I
yo,
don't think it's in there.
that meme is like a funny meme. I'm surprised you didn't see the Movie Addiction. Because I tell you, they be clowning them. Like, I keep telling you, man.
For real?
Yeah, with the
I
whole.
haven't seen that. I haven't seen that.
The meme is like, yo, you know, when he was like, I don't know, I think I better tell him what I know. Like, what? Don't you know she'll pull the burner out on you? Like,
Yeah, right.
She'll pull the like, what you mean? Tell him what you know. She definitely
Yeah,
didn't
I
stay
felt-
in character for that. But when Zeke said that, she did
Yeah.
not stay in character.
What do you mean she didn't stay in character?
She'll pull the gun out on Kane, on everybody. Zeke was like, I think I better tell him what I know. And she was like,
Yo, I'm telling you, Zeke is the cash cow. He's like the future of them going straight and not having to do this anymore. She's got a little bit of a soft hand with Zeke. You know what I mean?
yeah, she does. She does. That's a good way to say it. You're right.
Mm-hmm.
You're right. And Zeke has a little bit of a soft hand himself. So you wanted to laugh, Mike. I heard it. I heard it, bro.
That's funny, dude.
You just like the character, so you're not gonna hate on it.
No, I'm laughing.
My man was like, I think I better tell her what I know.
But I felt sorry for that teacher.
You know what's the funniest part though? I just want to tell you the funniest part. I'm sorry to cut you off. The funniest part is when he showed up at his teacher's house after getting beat up the night before.
Mm.
And she was like, I told you, you can't just come here. And then she just looked at the look on his face, like a puppy that just got his like bone taken from him.
She was like, "Oh, Zeke, come here." Poor Zeke.
I'm like, nah, bro. You supposed to be like, yeah, I had to handle some stuff. My man showed
that
up.
character's
Like,
too soft for you, huh?
way too soft for me, man. Way too soft for me. I'm sorry.
But I felt
don't need
sorry
it.
for the teacher. I felt sorry.
I need
for
some
the teacher.
toxic masculinity up out of him.
Yeah.
Just a little bit. Anyway, go on.
I felt sorry for the teacher when she had to deal with Monique. Like, I felt sorry for her. I was like, oh no, you made Monique come back after Monique.
Let me give him a hand here. Let me give him a hand here. Hold on a second, Mike. Shipment of bubble wrap I've ever seen. We couldn't even fit it in the door.
That dude
like
sounded
huge.
like he was from dude sounded like he was from South Buffalo.
He might be.
No, because he sounded like my man Matt. Yeah, he sounded like.
Oh no, his name isn't Matt. His name is Jeff.
Yeah.
And Bob.
Yeah, but I'm saying they're from. That's where Matt's from.
So you felt sorry for the teacher?
Yeah, when she had to
deal with Monique.
Monique for the second time, when she somehow didn't realize how real she was the first time.
What happened the second time?
Second time, Monique like got on her face and like basically said, I'm not playing with you.
When she walked in her office?
Yeah.
And she was sitting in the office?
Yeah.
I think that was the first time.
No, I'm talking about the second time. I mean, the fact that she made there be a second time was like, that's not good. You don't want to get on Monique's bad side like that.
Yeah, but I also don't see Monique killing teachers. I don't think Monique is going to
No,
be happy that they killed their teacher either.
no, but she was still afraid of her though.
Yeah, but at this point, Monique has no real muscle.
Yeah, but the teacher doesn't know all that.
Yeah, no, I just know. I mean, I'm just speaking on Monique. She doesn't have any muscle. She's really hollow. Her power is really hollow.
Yeah, that's why she let her son back.
Yeah, didn't want to, but it's like, yo, you don't have a choice. The only two
Yeah.
people that you got that'll do put in work is Reek and Kane.
Yeah.
I mean, she had to show up for Tommy Dolo,
Yeah.
which was smart though, because if Kane would have showed up, Kane would have ended up getting killed or killing, one or the other. It wouldn't have turned out with no gunshots going off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Tommy was gonna kill Tariq.
Yeah, Tommy is he's not Uncle Tommy anymore.
Dude was like, we'll never see each other again. Tommy got off. He's considered dead. He still was gonna kill Tasha. Crazy.
Yeah, I can't wait for the next
I don't understand why, but
can't wait for the next show to come on.
say again.
I said I can't wait for the next
Do
show
you have any?
to
Do
come
you
on.
have any idea on a release date?
No, sometime this year.
Well, yeah, we know that.
I want to say they were talking about spring or something, but I could just be making stuff up.
I'm hungry.
Yeah, me too.
I just thought about that. Spring, huh? Well, we'll have a new Marvel show before then.
What show?
Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Oh, okay. I just rewatched Civil War last night.
Good one. Captain America.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's an agent. I mean, there's a Wakanda show coming out that I'm kind of not looking forward to. Well, I don't know. Maybe it'll be good.
Oh, right.
Maybe it'll be good. Hopefully it'll be good. I like Shuri. I don't like the
Shuri's
idea
dope.
of comics movies without Black Panther in them. Personally, I don't like that idea. Knowing that when I pick up the comics and read the comics, that the storylines are based on Black Panther is in them. I know people want Shuri to become Black Panther, but like Shuri's dope as she is. She doesn't need to be Black Panther.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like Shuri is dope, and that's my point when I argue against her. Oh, Shuri, people don't want to see a woman. No, you don't understand that Shuri is dope. Shuri don't need to be Black Panther. You know what I mean? Shuri had her own comic book, which was called Shuri. She doesn't need to be Black Panther. You know what I mean? She's dope in her own right, and that's just real. I'm being real when I say that. Like she is dope in her own right. There's no need to make her Black Panther. You know what I mean? She can just be Shuri, like she is.
Yeah, I'm gonna figure out some ordering of some food.
Oh, you're gonna figure it out?
Yeah.
All right. Well.
All right, man. Well, good show again.
Yep.
Back on that ish. And until next time, peace.